The sound didn't desync. That's a plus. Let's see. We're in the after this is a recess because we're calling in Adrian, I think. That's what it is. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way, not cool. I collected Adrian Andrews. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. Oh, those are adjectives about Adrian. I was confused for a second. She's cool and collected. Got it. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have all easily planted that blood-covered button in your comma. Like, because she was the one who came to wake me up? Dude, I'm Keanu Reeves. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yeah, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan. I don't even believe that. Dude, why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a verdict that's refreshing, like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impax's missing suicide note, right? Yeah. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impax as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impax suddenly killed herself. It sounded like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impax? Who did tell us that? Oh, it was Edgeworth. Well, hold on. Even though he said it, he can't really say he was lying about it because he has the reports. Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. I think what Edgeworth found was that he needs to just find the truth, and so I don't think he's trying to screw with us. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ungard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. Smooth, Judge. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan, but this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter? Or was that bait and fry? But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well, then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. She still has that card. And we found that card. I bet that's the... Because we found that where Maya was kidnapped. I bet that's like a calling card for that killer dude. I don't know why she still has it though. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there he was. There was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice. Tomato juice. Ugh. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the crime scene, and I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you may go. Cool. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yeah, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Sounds difficult. We'll just do the regular Phoenix Wright idea of just pressing everything. Time for the show. And what was Mr. Ungard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini-performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Ungard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Ungard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object. Right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. We just got literally schooled in English. Went to Juan's room. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show is supposed to be a show of friendship. That's fine. I don't need to press for that. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? Dead body, you were in shock, that's fine. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? She's a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. That's sexist. Didn't know you had it in you, freaking Edgeworth. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked. Okay, Phoenix at least gets it. He gets it. Naturally, the exact same as the photo. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on the wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down, without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corrida, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What one thing? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry? It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. That's important.
Are you talking about the one on the floor?
Yeah.
The mess of glass shards?
I mean, that's fine if she did it. It was originally on top of the dresser. But when I bumped it into it, my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Oh, that's a lie.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
Another fact has yet to come to light here. Please add this. Anything else you have to reveal?
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. So that means that if I knocked over the guitar case, then she would have been the one to open the guitar case. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse. So I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser, and that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. Oh, I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. No glaring contradictions in your testimony just now. Should we not crack it? Okay, there's one other thing we could press. Might as well press it. I think that's what the game's telling us to do. Pardon me. I don't remember if it's this one or the second one. Or third one. Okay. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon. What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in my mind at that time. Get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Oh. Okay, so... I think just presenting the guitar case like itself. Or even like the crime scene photo. Because that's inconsistent. That's a map. I must present the map. Yeah, because if the case is open here. There we go. Perfect. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell into the guitar case? Is there a problem with what I said? It's not some problem, it's a major problem. So says Phoenix Wright. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what's so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
What is that?
Now let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor.
What's wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside. And there should be wet inside. Giggity. What is your point, Wright? But the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that the other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
That's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be, however. It does seem to have no relation to case, doesn't it?
Seems there's no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
See, I'm torn because this could be, if we're wrong on this choice, it would correct us anyway. So why don't we just do that? I want to see if that doesn't matter. Well, the case was empty, and I think that's all we really need to know. This, yeah. Don't you remember what I told you earlier? What's important here is that you disrupt her pacing. You have to attack her when she's not expecting it. Actually, Your Honor, I've changed my mind. I would like her to testify about the case.
Why are you changing your mind now?
I disrupted the judge pacing. Now comes the real deal. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a critical piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you.
Can't believe I'm doing this either.
Follow along, Judge. Please testify. Yes, Your Honor. We got this. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I might have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. It doesn't say it has her fingerprints, so I don't even think she touched it. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling. By now, it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead with the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic? A convenient escape for a weak man. Rude. Rude. Ooh. Ooh, I want some freaking Italian sausage. Sounds delicious. Pressing. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Ooh, that sounds delicious, Mystic. Yes, it was me. So, you opened the guitar case, then? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have you a little professionalism? The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention.
Pay more attention.
Sorry. 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 So sorry. As for why I opened the case... Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not gonna get her for pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I think we'll press the, we'll show the case when she says she opened it. Because it doesn't have her fingerprints on it. Yeah. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Oh.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
You'd be lying, because you have fingerprints on your glass. Why would you be wearing gloves at that time?
It was the night of the awards ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I am almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
That's strange. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
Yeah, this glass. I was hoping it'd be faster this way.
Take that!
I have your proof right here.
The wine glass.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case?
Ah, my glasses. Oh gosh, she has a backup. That's great. Backup glasses.
Order!
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
What do you mean?
I believe the guitar case plays a very important role here.
It's just an empty case.
Scary! Woo! I wonder if it really was empty, though.
But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio.
Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the Wright brake guitar.
So there was something else in there? Phoenix, the bright white guitar? No.
Red, white, and blue.
It would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case...
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided...
No, Your Honor.
Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it was wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you're so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us all as to why the guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that?
Just say yes. Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
Okay.
Oh, he went black bright, or black guitar. Bright black. Did he say bright black guitar? Isn't that an oxymoron? So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours, you haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? You know, if it could have been a second outfit. I'm pretty sure the dude would know if he was like stripped, and he said he was wearing it the whole time. So I'm gonna say it was another costume.
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what's important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
This picture.
Doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. I'm saying a second.
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be in doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starred for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get the shot, correct? Yeah, she got this photo.
Looks like we wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Oh, you know my strategy, speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Wait a second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Matt Ungard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case, of all places?
True. A little baffling. Right, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
It was a spare costume. Mr. Ungard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one.
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
How do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. I'm guessing he was going to do the press conference, I guess.
Why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume? Could be the reason.
And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? No,
Please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. That's right. Be confident in your answer. The reason the victim brought the Nicholas Prayer Costume Hotel was for the conference.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
Press conference?
Yeah, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ungard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
How can that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself.
The victim?
The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold a press conference as the Nickel Samurai. Yeah, so he was going to dress up an old conference. That's pretty cool. Why would he do it? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ungard.
I guess that pay up.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Words. I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Hmm?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Shouldn't you tell these things? Please offer us an explanation.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
So you knew the costume was there then?
Juan had bet everything on the Gem and Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
Okay. Do you know what this secret was?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. Ungard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand.
Bring it on.
My good mistress. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
If it was Matt who did it, he strangled him. He's dead. Why would he then stab him? This doesn't count for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. Finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
Defense can find no fault with his testimony. I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine.
It's like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. Woo! That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. We're going to save again. I'm glad we can do safety saves. And then we'll just press our butts away. Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3. Oh gosh, you know what they are, Phoenix. Come on.
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. If you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should already know that, Phoenix.
They didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember.
May I continue?
So would you say this need came from the press conference?
Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for that conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt Ungard.
And you knew of his plan, didn't you?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. Ungard himself didn't know anything about the press conference.
Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, says the weak man's excuse, the important thing here is that the information was not in your testimony. I agree. Please correct your testimony.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright?
I know what his motive was? Has Mr. Ungard done something to hurt or betray you personally?
Why do you ask?
You were the one who helped Mr. Kurita with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ungard, yet you still helped out. That person on trial right now is Mr. Ungard, right?
What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, that means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Because you're that guy. Didn't you see him first? Didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Engard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
Keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said.
You're actually trying, Judge? Good for you, old man. Ooh. Ooh. Can't say the same for us. Judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer had a fight. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from Gem Ninja's costume.
Oh, you're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's kama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. No, it doesn't, because if she saw the scene, she wouldn't go, oh, the button's missing. I bet it's in Matt's kama. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes. For Mr. Wright's sake, please add this to your testimony. How do you know that? I swear I'm psychic sometimes. When the ends of the threads of the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard. Heard that before, too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm prepared and you're not. And I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. Where and what? I really feel that I should be able to press this, like, now. There's this one. Like, I want to present the button right here. No. Like, because how does she know that's a thing? I know what his motive was. From the moment I saw the crime scene, feeling that was the murderer. I know what his motive was, but I didn't have any way to prove I'm right. Is this the one where we can add more testimony? Because I feel like we added something and it's gone now. What you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Engard at any time. Why, then, would she wait until there was such a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Engard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will toward the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. I can say any word I want as Mr. Edgeworth and be perfectly normal in reading, because we're getting the Spiff read emote because I can read perfectly. Stop slandering the witness. Yeah. As expected, Sanders' testimony seems pretty solid. Or, really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Guess we'll see if we press a little more. You should know this by now, and you shouldn't, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. You ate it too fast, that's what it was, Mystic. I always take like half a portion or half what I think I can eat. I finish it, I wait 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, now I want more. Would you say that was your intuition? I know what his motive was, but I didn't have any way to prove I'm right. The scene of the murder. The button was torn off Juan during his fight with Matt. I feel like this is something. Kichi! Everyone, please. Welcome Kichi back
Kichi's
to
pointing
the
a gun
chat.
at me.
Kichi, how are you doing?
Happy Tuesday. How you doing, my lady?
Oh, then yeah, definitely, like, just start trying to take half portions, Mystic. And then if you're still hungry afterwards, have another, like, small half portion. Button was torn off Juan during his fight with Matt. Really don't believe that. I am so lost. I'm Spifftastic, that's what I am. Let's load this real quick so we can get some more health back. Let's hear this one again. Has he done something to hurt you, betray you? You were the one who helped Mr. Kurita. You're supposed to bring Master on guard, so you still helped out. This is the one that's bugging me, and I'm not sure if that's going to be good enough. I'm going to present the practice press conference here. No. Because, like, that's going to be an issue. Saying you're his manager. It's this one or the other one, I feel. Was ripped from his costume. And I already presented it here, though. I already presented the button literally right here. I'm missing something pretty simple here. Pretty sure. Nope. Restart the music! Button was torn off during the fight. Well, hold on. Actually, this is good. If during the fight